just going to read a chapter or so of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? This is one of my favorite books, and that's what I feel like doing. Okay. A merry little surge of electricity pumped, piped by automatic alarm from the organ beside his bed, weakened, Rick-Deckard, surprised. It always surprised him to find himself awake without prior notice. He rose from the bed, stood up in his multicolored pajamas, and stretched. Now, in her bed, his wife Urana opened her gray, unmerry eyes, blinked, then groaned and shut her eyes again. "You said your penny feel too weak," he said to her. "Father says you'll be awake and keep your hands off my settings." Her voice held bitter sharpness. "I don't want to be awake." He seated himself beside her, bent over her, and explained softly, "If you set the surge up high enough, you'll be glad you're awake. That's the whole point. At setting C, it overcomes the threshold of bearing consciousness, as it does for me." Friendly because he felt well disposed toward the world. His setting had been a D. Patted her bare, pale shoulder. "Get your crude, cop hands away," Ren said. "I'm not a cop." He felt irritable now, although he hadn't dialed for it. "You're worse," his wife said, her eyes still shut. "You're a murderer hired by the cops." "I've never killed a human being in my life." His irritability had risen now, had become outright hostility. Iran said, "Just those poor Andes." "I notice you've never had any hesitation as to spending the bounty money I bring home on whatever momentarily attracts your attention." He rose, stroked the console of his mood organ. "Instead of saving," he said, "so that we could buy a real sheep to replace the fake electric one upstairs, a mere electric animal, and me earning all that I've worked my way up to through the years." At the console he hesitated between dialing for a thaumatic suppressant, which would abolish his mood of rage, or a thaumatic stimulant, which would make him irked enough to win the argument. "If you dial," Iran said, eyes open, watching, "for greater venom, then I'll dial the same. I'll dial the maximum, and you'll see a fight that makes every argument we've had up till now seem like nothing. Dial and see. Just try me." She rose swiftly, looked to the console from an organ, stood glaring at him, waiting. He sighed, defeated by her thought. "I'll dial what's on my schedule for today," examining the schedule for January 3rd, 2021. He saw that a business-like professional attitude was called for. "I'll dial by my schedule," he said wearily. Will you agree to do so also?" He waited, canny enough not to commit himself until his wife had agreed to follow suit. My schedule for today lists a 6-hour self-accusatory depression, Iran said. What? Why did you schedule that? It defeated the whole purpose of the mood organ. I didn't even know you could set it for that, he said gloomily. I was sitting here one afternoon, Iran said, and naturally I had turned on Buster Friendly and his friendly friends. And he was talking about a big news item he's about to break. And then that awful commercial came on, the one I hate, you know, from Mounty Back, the lead copper pieces. And so for a minute, I shut off the sound. And I heard the building, this building. I heard she gestured. Empty apartments, Rick said. Sometimes he heard them at night, when he was supposed to be asleep. And yet, for this day and age, a one-half occupied compound building, rated high in the scheme of population density, out in what had been before the suburbs, one could find buildings entirely empty, or so he had heard. He had let the information remain second-hand. Like most people, he did not care to experience it directly. At that moment, Iran said, when I had the TV sound off, I was in a 382 mood. I had just dialed it. So although I heard the emptiness intellectually, I didn't feel it. My first reaction consisted of being grateful that we could afford to feel it. Then I realized how unhealthy it was, sensing the absence of life, not just in the building, but everywhere, and not reacting, do you see? I guess you don't. But that used to be considered a high. But that used to be considered a sign of mental illness. They called it absence of appropriate effect. So I let the TV sound off and I sat down at my new organ, and I experimented. And I finally found a setting for despair. Her dark, pert face showed satisfaction, as if she had achieved something of worth. So I put it in my schedule. Twice a month. I think that's a reasonable amount of time to feel hopeless about everything. But staying here on Earth after everybody who's smart has immigrated, don't you think? But a mood like that, Rick said, you're apt to stay in it, not tile your way out. Despair like that, but total reality, it's self-perpetuating. I programmed automatic resetting for 3 hours later, his wife said sleekly. At 4:01, awareness of the manifold possibilities open to me in the future. New hope that I know for it, he interrupted. He had dialed out the combination many times. He relied on it greatly. Listen, he said, seating himself on the bed and taking hold of her hands. Draw her down beside him. Even with an automatic cutoff, it's dangerous to undergo a depression, any kind. Forget what you've scheduled, and I'll forget what I've scheduled. We'll dial 104 together, and both experience it. And then we'll stay in it while I reset mine from my usual business-like attitude. the roof, check out our sheep, and then head up to the office. Meanwhile, I'll know you're not sitting here brooding with no TV. You released your slim long fingers, pushed through the spacious apartment to the living room, which smelled faintly of last night's cigarettes. You bent to turn on the TV. In the bedroom, your aunt's voice came. I can't stand TV before breakfast. Dial 888, Richard said. Rick said the set was set warmed. A desire to watch TV, no matter what's on it. I don't feel like dialing anything at all now, Marianne said. Then dial 3, he said. I can't dial a setting that stimulates my cerebral cortex into wanting to dial. If I don't want to dial, I don't want to dial. That most of all. Because then I will want to dial. Wanting to dial is right now the most alien drive I can imagine. I just want to sit here on the bed and stare at the floor. Her voice had become sharp with overtones of bleakness, as her soul congealed when she ceased to move, as the instinctive, omnipresent film of great weight, of an almost absolute inertia, settled over her. He turned up the TV sound, and the voice of Buster Formley boomed out and filled the room. Ho ho, folks. Time now for a brief note on today's weather. The mongoose satellite reports that fall will be especially pronounced toward noon, and then taper off. So all you folks will be venturing out, appearing beside him, purple on nightgown trailing this way. Marianne shut off the TV set. Okay, I give up. One dial. Anything you want me to be. Ecstatic sexual bliss. I feel so bad I'll even endure that. What then? What difference does it make? I'll dial for both of us, Rick said, and led her back to the bedroom. There, at her console, he dialed 594. Pleased acknowledgement of her husband's superior wisdom in all matters. On his own console, he dialed creative and fresh attitude towards his job. This he hardly needed. Such was his habitual innate approach, without resource to Penfield artificial brain simulation. After a hurried breakfast, he had lost time due to the discussion with his wife. He ascended clad for venturing out, including his Ajax model 90-bag lead codpiece, to the covered roof pasture, whereupon his electric sheep grazed. Arrowhead, sophisticated piece of hardware as that it was, chopped away in simulated contentment by bristling the other tenants of the building. Of course, some of their animals undoubtedly consisted of electronic circuitry fakes too. He had, of course, never nosed into the matter, any more than they, his neighbors, had pried into the real workings of his sheep. Nothing could be more impolite. To say, "Is your sheep genuine?" would be a worse breach of manners than to inquire whether a citizen's teeth, hair, or internal organs would test out authentic. The morning air, spilling over the radioactive notes, gray and sun-beclouding, belched around him, haunting his nose. He sniffed involuntarily the taint of death. Well, that was too strong a description for it. He decided as he made his way to a particular plot of sod, which he owned, along with the unduly large apartment below. The legacy of World War terminus had diminished in potency. Those who could not survive the dust had passed into oblivion years ago, and the dust, weaker now, and confronting the strong survivors, only deranged minds and genetic properties. Despite his lead codpiece, the dust undoubtedly filtered in and at him, brought him daily, so long as he failed to emigrate into its little load of befouling filth. So far, medical checkups taken monthly confirmed him as a regular, a man who could reproduce within the tolerances set by the law. Any month, however, the exam by the San Francisco Police Department doctors could reveal otherwise. Continually, new specialists came into existence, created out of regulars by the omnipresent dust. The saying currently blabbed by posters, TV ads, and government junk mail ran: emigrate or degenerate, the choice is yours. Very true, Rick thought, as he opened the gate to his little pasture and approached his electric sheep. But I can't emigrate, he said to himself, because of my job. The owner of the adjoining pasture, his con-out neighbor, Bill Barber, hailed him. He, like Rick, had dressed for work, but had stopped off on the way to check his animal too. My horse, Barber declared beamingly, is pregnant. He indicated the big Percheron, which stood staring off in an empty fashion into space. What do you say to that? I say, pretty soon, they'll have 2 horses, Rick said. He had reached his sheep now. It lay, rummaging, its alert eyes fixed on him in case he had brought any raw loads with him. The alleged sheep contained an ootropic circuit. At the sight of such cereals, would scramble up, convincingly amble over. Was she pregnant by? He asked Barber. The Benton? I want some of that. Some of the highest quality fertilizing plasma of it in California, Barber informed him. Through inside contracts I have with the state and the whole husbandry board. Don't you remember last week, the inspector was out here examining Judy? They're eager to have her full. She's an unmatched superior. Barbara flipped his horse firmly on the neck, and she inclined her head toward him. Ever thought of selling your horse? Rick asked. He wished to God he had a horse. In fact, any animal. Only maintaining a fraud had gradually demoralizing one. And yet, from a social standpoint, it had to be done, given the absence of the rear article. He had therefore no choice except to continue. Even were he not to care himself, he remained his wife, and Euron did care very much. It'd be immoral to sell my horse, so the colt down. Having 2 animals is more than not having me. Puzzled, Barbara said, how do you mean? A lot of people have 2 animals, or 3, 4. Like in the case of Fred Washburn, who owns the multi-processing plant said even 5. Didn't you see the article about his death in yesterday's Chronicle? It's supposed to be the heaviest and largest possibility on the West Coast. It's based over imaginal possessions, drifted by degrees into a trance. Exploring about in his coat pockets, Rick found his creased, much-studied copy of Sidney's Animal and Fowl catalog, January supplement. He looked in the index, found colts, fine horses, and presently, at the revealing national price, I complained they can buy a brochure colt from Sydney's for $5,000 settlement. No, you can't, Robert said. Look at that listing again. It's in italics. That means they don't have any in the slot. But that would be the price if they did have. Suppose, Rick said, I pay you $500 for a month for 2 months. Full catalog value. Pay me, Robert said. Deckard, you don't understand about horses. There's a reason why Sydney doesn't have any pressure on colts in stock. Pressure on colts just don't change hands at catalog value. They're too scarce. Even relatively inferior ones. You would need to cross that common fence, gesticulating. I've had cheerleader for 3 years, and not in all that time have I seen pressure on my heart for quality. To acquire her, I had to fly to Canada, and I personally drove her back here myself to make sure she wasn't stolen. You bring an animal like this anywhere around Colorado or Wyoming, and they'll knock you off to get a hold of it. You know why? Because back before WWT, they existed literally hundreds. But, Rick interrupted, for you to have 2 horses and me none, and violates the whole basic theological and moral structure of mercerism. Have your sheep, oh, you can follow this in your individual way. When you grasp it together with the you approach her. Now if you didn't have that old sheep there, I'd see some logic in your position. Sure, if I had 2 animals, you didn't have any, I'd be helping deprive you of a true fusion of mercer. But every family in this building, let's see, around 50. 1, so every 3 months. As I compute it, every one of us is an animal of some sort. Craves to have that chicken over there. He just ignored alongside his wife and that big red dog that broke us under the knees. Wondered. I think it's met a cat down in his apartment. At least he says so. No one's ever seen it. Probably he's just pretending. Going over to his sheep, Rick bent down, searching that thick white wool. Fleece, at least, was genuine. Until he found what he was looking for. The concealed control panel mechanism. As Barbara watched, he snapped open the panel covering, riveting it. See? It's in Barbara. You understand now why I want your colt so badly. After an interval, Barbara said, You poor guy. Has it always been this way? No, Rick said. Once again including the panel covering off his electric sheet, he straightened up, turned, and faced his neighbor. I had real sheep originally. My wife's father gave it to us outright when he immigrated. Then, about a year ago, remember the time I took it to the vet? You were up here that morning, and I came out and found it lying on its side, and it couldn't get up. You got it to its feet, Barbara said, remembering and nodding. Yeah, you managed to lift it up. But then after a minute of walking around, it fell over again. Rick said, sheep get strange diseases. Well, put another way, sheep get a lot of diseases, but their symptoms are always the same. The sheep can't get up. There's no way to tell how serious it is, whether it's a sprain in the leg or the animal's dying of tetanus. That's what mine died of. Tetanus. Up here on the roof. The hay, Rick explained. The one time I didn't get all the wire out of the bale. I left a piece in Groucho. That's what I called him then. Got a scratch. And that way, I dropped tetanus. I took it to the vet, and he died. And I thought about it, and finally, I called one of those shops that manufacture animals, and I showed them a photo of Groucho. They made this. It inexcusably cried for a SAS animal, which continued to ruminate attentively, still watching alertly for any indication of oats. It's a premium job, and I've put as much time and attention into caring for it as I did when it was real. But he shrugged. It's not the same, but we're finished. But almost. You feel the same doing it. You have to keep your eye on it exactly as you did when it was really alive. Because they break down in the summer, and everyone nobody knows. I've had it at the repair shop 6 times. Mostly the little functions, but if it ain't solid. For instance, one time the video tape broke. Not the voice tape broke. Or anyhow, got fouled, and it wouldn't stop buying. They recognized it as a mechanical breakdown. Repair up struck is, of course, marked Animal Hospital Center. The driver dresses like a vet, completely in white. Glanced on me his watch, remembering the time. I have to get to work, he said to Barbara. I'll see you this evening. He started towards his car. Barbara called after him hurriedly. I won't say anything to anyone here in the building. Pausing. Rick started to say things, but then something with the snare that he ran. Had been talking about tapped him on the shoulder, and he said, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make any difference. But they'll look down on you. Not all of them, but some. You know how many people. You know how people are about not taking care of an animal. We consider it immoral and anti-empathetic. I mean, technically it's not a crime like it was after WWT. But the feeling's still there. God, Rick said futile. God, Rick said futile. He gestured empty-handed. I'm allowed to have an animal. I keep trying to buy one. On my salary, on what the city employees makes. If he thought I can get lucky and open out again. As I did 2 years ago when I managed to back 4 Andes during 1 month. If I had known then, he thought, that Groucho was going to die. But that had been before the tetanus, before the 2-inch piece of broken like peeling water. You could buy a cat, Barbara. Cats are cheap. Here's these cat ones. Rick said quietly, I don't want a domestic pet. I want what I really had. Large animal. A sheep. But if I can get the money, a cow or a steer. Or what you have, a horse. The bounty for a tired farmhands would do it. You know that. $1,000 a piece. Over and above my salary. And someone I found. Somewhere I could find. Or someone I want. Even if the listing and these animals and found one. It's in italics, $5,000. But in Northern California, and the senior bunny in the area, Dave Holden, had to die or retire by a cricket. Barbara said quickly, "Well, mouse, hey, for $25, buy a full-grown mouse." Brooke said, "Your horse could die like Gretchen died without warning. You get home from work this evening, you could find her laid out on her back, her feet in the air like a bug. That," he said, "a cricket." He strode off, car key in hand. "Sorry if I offended you," Barbara said nervously. In the silence, Rick Deckard plugged open the door of his own car. He had nothing further to say to his neighbor. His mind was on work, on the day ahead.